What up? What up? What it is? What it do? You know who it is. For
Dude,
you. We back again with the 22 twos,
22
and it
twos.
is another edition of the 22 ones, actually, because missing the guy as usual. Um,
He's playing hooky.
our boy, yeah, he bailed out on us tonight for good reason because he's on location, taking care of business.
hmm
Creating
Yes,
some
sir.
content for the channel. So we appreciate that. We're gonna hold it down for him. I'm gonna do what I always do. My boy DB do gonna do what he always do. But this guy, Mr. Clark Kent, he got some additional duties tonight. He's gonna be moderating.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna kick it over to you. So let's see what you do.
And you know I'm going to hold it down. I am not quite FJB when it comes to the moderation, but I do a little something.
It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter.
Listen, we are back again with another episode of Second and 2 Week 13. Kicking it off with some somber news that we received from NFL Countdown this weekend with Randy Moss. Basically mentioning that he's going through a health situation right now. There was a lot of speculation with the yellow and the white of his eyes. People are thinking liver disease. He went on ahead and had a quote. I'll just read it briefly. I just ask for all the prayer warriors to put their blessing hands on me and my family during these hard times. People were talking about my eyes last week. I'm battling something, man. And it's something internal. Your boy is going to get through it. I got a great team of doctors and a great family around me. So that was shocking, sobering news to hear that from Randy Moss. So listen, our thoughts, our prayers go to the Hall of Fame wide receiver. Great guy. We love you. Salute to you, Randy Moss. Now, we're going to get into these games, baby. A lot happened this weekend. And Mr. Maneuvers, with his big old ugly face, is going to kick us off. Let's go.
Beautiful.
Golly.
Come on now.
It's all love, baby. It's all love.
Anyway, here we go. Steelers.
Cute to somebody.
Steelers 44. Bengals 38. The Steelers, led by Danger Russ, who went off.
Yes, he did.
400
yards and 3 touchdowns.
Let Rush cook.
Outdo Joe Cool and the Bengals in what was the unexpected highest scoring game of the week. You know what I'm saying? 44-30.
Yeah.
Like I've been saying, it's over for the Bengals. But the NFC North, man, that is some fun football.
Yes, it is.
Hey, shout out to Hard Knocks. Shout out to Hard Knocks.
That was amazing. The Hard Knocks AFC.
Wow, shout out.
That was.
I'm like halfway through it, and I was loving it. Yep.
So next thing we're gonna talk about is the Cardinals 22, Vikings 23. The Vikes did it again, man. They looked shaky for a couple weeks there, but they have ripped off 5 in a row. Meanwhile, the Cardinals look like they have finally come back down to earth. They had won 4 in a row, but they're now on a 2-game losing streak. And they start, they play the Seahawks next week, who started a 2-game losing streak for them. So we're gonna see how they look, because they out there at 6-6 in that West. Well, Cardinals are 10-2 in the other North. That looks amazing as well.
NFC North is back.
Yeah.
That is a tough division, man. That's a tough division.
Back.
The Colts 25, the Pats 24. Anthony Richards did it again. Late game heroic. Threw a late game touchdown and then ran it in for a 2-point conversion to beat the Pats and Drake May. Which, in the grand scheme of things, for some people don't matter. For me, Patriots, I need y'all to win 1, maybe 2 more games.
Please.
Just
for the love of God, win games.
Win.
Please.
Y'all don't need a quarterback. We do.
Yeah. So then moving on. No surprises in Green Bay. It was cold. The Dolphins lost. Packers 30. Dolphins 17.
Hey, it's cold. Hey, this thing can't migrate in the cold, bro.
They can't travel. Listen, gentlemen, they can't play. They can't travel and play in cold weather. But I guess who can talk in cold weather? Get to it, Darnell. Give us the rest of those scores.
Yeah, man. So like big moment of silence we gotta say too. No, I'm just messing with him. Kirk Cousins and his time as being a starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons might be up. Cousin Skeeter might be having to take a backseat for Mr. Penix. Mr. Penix might be making a surprise showing coming up pretty soon. So we'll see how that goes. Texans and Jags. Tough win for the Texans as they are trying to keep up and win that division, which I think they should, as they should. The AFC South is terrible, absolutely terrible. But that game was marred in controversy. What happened with Trevor Lawrence? Unfortunately,
which we
Trevor
will get into later on. Yep.
Yes, Trevor has gone to the IR. So that might be the end of that season, and it might be the end of Doug Peterson as a coach.
A lot of seasons ended this week.
A lot of them ended. Yep. Bucks and the Panthers. Baker, money maker. The NFC South is still on this track.
That stiff ass. He was like this.
Yeah. As shout out to another resurgent quarterback as well, as Bryce has been looking a lot better. After being benched. John Elway did say the best thing that happened in his career was to be benched. And look how this turning out now. Dave Canales is working his magic with Bryce. Unfortunately, they lost. But, as I said, the Bucks right now, that's their division. I think they're going to finish it. Yeah, it's been encouraging. And, a somber note. Adam Thielen helped. Some veterans presence will really help him a lot. And on a somber note, but you know what? A happy somber note. As the Giants did look competitive against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. It wasn't. Yes, it wasn't the best, but you know what? It's the first time in weeks. Yeah, first time in weeks they actually showed that they could quote unquote play football.
Yeah, Dexter Lawrence season ended as well.
But he doesn't need to be out there anymore. Yeah, he doesn't need to be out there anymore. At this point in the game, at this point in the season where there's nothing to play for, just everything to lose, there's nothing to gain at this point besides injuries.
The hope is at this point, like, he's gonna be our only Pro Bowler. So we hope that he doesn't. We have no representation in the Pro Bowl if they.
No, it's fine. It's fine. No, it's. We don't need him to play and to get. The Pro Bowl means the Pro Bowl.
Do you want to be a team that doesn't have a Pro Bowler?
I want to have some type of representation. What is the flag football bowl?
Is he gonna play flag football? Like, seriously? Are we gonna put
what I just said.
him out there play flag?
But
what is he gonna do?
Yo, I can hear the commentators. Yeah, the Giants had 0 Pro Bowls last year. Like that,
we had it last year. It's the same thing.
They had 1 Pro Bowl.
They'll talk about it in the drive. It'd be like they had 0.
Yeah,
Pro Bowlers.
that's it.
We had a Pro Bowler last year. Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, listen, it's okay. All it does is it just shows that the GM needs to do his job a lot better, and the coach needs to probably put the. Honestly, it's crazy. After watching how Drew Lock ran that offense, granted it wasn't the best. Could you imagine if we had really pivoted in earlier in the season, what that would have said? You know what I mean? So that's just that's an indictment on the front office. And
one way of looking at it.
I'm sorry. I'm an optimist, man. So, but that's what I got. Back to you, Sean T.
Well, all right. So we got a couple of games on the docket, fellas. Rams edged the Saints 21-14. Matthew Stafford, Kyren Williams did what they were supposed to do. Listen, it looked like it for a moment, but Kyren Williams and Matt Stafford took over. Kyren Williams had 15 carries, 104, and a tud.
Solid.
Matt Stafford threw for 2 of them things. Solid showing from them. Moving on to the next one. Titans, Commanders. Commanders put foot to ass. 42-19. Jaden Daniels, efficient 25-30, 206 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 INT. They had over 267 yards on the ground. They ran all over them boys. Okay? Brian Robinson was leading the way, 16 carries, 103 yards, and 1 tud. Next game, Seahawks, Jets, the ultimate revenge game. 2 Jets sticking to their former team. Pause. Leonard Williams, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for losses, 1 INT, and one touchdown that he ran back on a 92-yard interception of Aaron Rodgers, which was crazy. And I know we all got local TV here in New York, and we all seen it. It was like, God damn.
Hey,
Geno Williams.
I text you. I was like, damn, the Jets is all over these boys. And he threw that interception.
Yeah.
All over.
And the game changed. Leonard Williams. Shout out to Leonard Williams, defensive NFC defensive player of the week, with 2 sacks, 3 tackles for losses, 1 INT for touchdown. 2 weeks in a row, right?
Whenever you leave the New York market, you end up playing your best football.
Yeah, that's what happened.
I mean, and Geno Smith played great. 20 for 31, 206 yards, 1 touchdown. Listen, Aaron Rodgers, what is going on with your man maneuvers? Okay, they were throws that looked like he
got that Netflix special.
Listen, he looked like there were times where he didn't see. It looked like he wasn't seeing the field. He looked shaky. What's your take on that? You don't have to say anything. It's okay. Moving on to the next one. Raiders, Chiefs.
I'm like Stephen A. There's no defense for Aaron Rodgers.
There is zero defense for Aaron Rodgers, literally. Raiders, Chiefs. The Chiefs seem to be escaping a lot of football games where it looks like they should be able to lose, right? 3 missed field goals, 3 of them by the Raiders in scoring position. Aiden O'Connell, you can't ask for a better game from him. And talk about a monster game.
Solid game.
10 receptions, 140 yards, and a touchdown. And it still wasn't enough to beat the Chiefs because guess what?
Georgia.
Pat Mahomes knows how to right the ship and run his offense. And they got the win, 19-17. And lastly, the Lord
can I say
gave him
real quick about the Chiefs. Like the difference between the Chiefs and the Bengals is the Chiefs are winning the close games and the Bengals are losing them.
Yeah. They closing.
That is the difference. That is the difference. But I mean, it's all three phases of football, isn't it? Offense, defense, special teams. Like I said in the beginning of this season and in this series that we record every single week, the Chiefs are finding a way to win on all facets of the game. Broncos, Browns. Now the Lord gave him snow, but Jameis Winston could not get a win from the Lord Jesus Christ this week. He went down 41-31, 41-32, excuse me. Two picks for 2 pick sixes, costly. One of the plays, Jerry Jeudy just looked at homeboy that caught the interception and ran it in for the touchdown. Pretty much put them out of commission. Your boy, Mr. Maneuvers.
Oh, that's
Jerry
not
Jeudy.
Yep.
You
were talking about him for a long time. I remember that.
When he play, he got a different gear, but it's just not. You know what I'm saying? He not in his heart. He not built for it.
That's another story. I'm never gonna call an NFL player's heart into play because I don't know the gentleman, but I hear where you're coming from. You're not about that life when it comes to him. Now, gentlemen,
I'm about that life.
Okay. All right.
I just was too short.
We are tagging Jerry Jeudy on this clip. We'll clip that and tag Jerry Jeudy.
And tag Steve Smith Sr. too, because he got my back.
Jag.
Show you right. Everybody loves Steve Smith Sr. He tells the truth, baby. He tells the truth. Tells the truth. Listen, we are entering 4-down territory, gentlemen. Week 13. We had Matt Eberflus. Now, we were all in the group chat this week. We were talking about what in the hell are the Bears doing. They went down, as we know, 23-20. Had an opportunity to tie the game with 31 seconds left on the clock. Complete and total time management debacle from the head coaching staff. And also Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams also had his part to play in that. But my question to you guys is, should Eberflus or Caleb be held responsible for the clock management debacle? I'll let you go first, Mr. Maneuvers.
I mean, it's all coaching. It all comes down to the coaching. Whether the players executing on the field is a result of coaching, the result of being prepared, the result of what you talk about in the dressing rooms. It's a result of what you talk about in the team meetings. It's a result of what you do, in on the field practice throughout the week. So like it all comes back down to coaching. That's it. I mean, like, I feel like they be pulling the chair on these coaches so fast these days, man.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, keep in mind, a couple
He's
of quick
been there.
blurbs about him. He's been there for 4 years, and he's fired 4 head coaches under his tenure. He's had issues with time, with situational football
the whole time.
Time management and situational football, where in the last 3 weeks alone, they've had issues with making sure that they're in prime position to win football games, and they just haven't been able to do it. My question to you, Darnell, is how, a head coach being fired in the middle of the season, in the late part of the season, how does this affect Caleb Williams' ability to develop as a player?
I don't think it does. I feel as if when it's a situation like this, there needs to be some direction here that the team just wasn't on before. With a guy that is a generational talent like Caleb Williams, he's gonna make it work. I do trust the front office. I think Ryan Poles has done a phenomenal job. I think the GM a phenomenal job putting weapons around him. It's a point of just really getting these weapons loaded up in the clip. You know what I mean? And having them there at their disposal. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think Eberflus have been on thin ice for a long time. Me being as well, I did reach out on a limb and I did say that the Bears was going to be a surprise wild card team. But, you think about it, with a rookie quarterback.
I said the Jets win the Super Bowl, so come on, don't be too hard on yourself.
No. But the thing is, when you see the Bears play, no. When you see the Bears play, you're like, man, that team is like, they've lost. How many close games have they lost? At least 3 or 4 this season alone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and even the Hail Mary, the DC Miracle. Like, it just goes back. And I said, coaching hasn't been there. Eberflus, he's a decent coach, but he's just not that next tier coach to put you over the top.
Yeah, but
what you have. Okay.
Here's what I mean when I say they pull the chair on these coaches too fast. Is that you draft what everyone is saying is a generational talent at number 1.
Right.
In rookie season, you fire the coach before the end of the season. Like, if you were not wed to this guy as your head coach long term, when you drafted this generational talent at number 1, then fire him when you make the pick, so that you can create a sense of stability around this young quarterback who you're now banking your franchise on. And that's what I mean. If you're gonna pick a guy, like switching the coaching staff 2-3 times in his first 5 years, it's bad business.
My question to the both of you. Go ahead, Donnell.
I was gonna say, let me pose this to you. I don't know if you're a big, arborist or not, but I have a really good friend that is an arborist, right?
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm trying to say is,
I was just saying that
right now,
who didn't know what an arborist was, and catch on.
Yeah, we're gonna put the definition on the bottom in the ticker.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So
people know what an arborist is. Go ahead.
Arborist, and I'll say this, like, if you have not even
that's
pruning,
a Googleable word.
Pruning.
That's a Googleable word.
Yeah. Not even pruning. I'm talking about if you realize that your plant is dying in the soil, there's a spot where you do what? You repot the soil. You completely uproot the plant.
Yeah, I hear
from
what
the
you're
bad
saying.
soil.
I hear what you're saying.
But you're not letting me finish though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're talking about him. He's a generational talent. He's got the growth already. We've already seen flashes of him being that good with a bad head coach.
Yeah.
Uprooting him and saying like, hey, you know what? Let's see if Eberflus was part or wholly the problem with Caleb Williams. If he comes out...
I hear what you're saying, but this is what I'm saying to you, right? Eberflus Like he was on a short lease anyway to start the season. If they fire him now for what they fired him for, because clock management, if that was the straw that broke the camel's back, right? It was a lot of straws up under that one. So they could have fired him
right
early
many
on,
times.
early on before Caleb Williams had, a full off-season program, OTAs, all that stuff, mini camp, 13
Look
weeks.
great on Hard Knocks though. Look phenomenal.
13 weeks NFL football with this coach before they then say, "Oh, okay,
we're done
with this guy. Let's go get somebody new," and start the process all over again for Caleb and his mom.
I mean, they did botch the firing. They could have done it better. I agree.
And then to your point, maneuvers. That's one of the few mistakes that I feel like Ryan Poles had made. So, last question to put a bow on this one: head coaching options. Who do you guys think should be the next head coach of the Monsters of the Midway?
I mean, the number one name that's gonna float out there for any head coach opening this year is Bill Belichick.
I knew you were gonna say that.
No.
I want to vomit.
No, that's the number one
Listen.
name. Any head coach. You asked me. I'm giving you my rundown.
Yeah.
That's the number one name that's gonna float out there. The easy answer though is Mike Vrabel.
No,
I was gonna say Mike Vrabel's the fit.
Nah,
That's
not
the
me.
Easy.
He's the perfect fit.
I would agree
together.
with that. Yeah, I would agree with that, but I was going to say, but maybe they might not want to go this route. They might not, but Ben Johnson's going to pick where he wants to go. And that's a name that's really hot. I think that Detroit coaching staff and possibly, hey, you never know, Spags might be looking to get a new position too. You know what I mean? Like you could throw him out there. You could also throw out,
I think Spags is
I'm just
on the tooth now for a head coaching job. I think he's comfortable where he's at. And
I think at this point, and I think at this point that's
Flores.
Fair.
That's another one.
Listen.
Flores,
Speaking of defense.
Oh, Marcus Golden. They said it too.
Speaking of defense went wrong this weekend in Jacksonville. We saw a really nasty hit on a slide this weekend on Trevor Lawrence by Azeez Al-Shaair.
Yeah.
Didn't hold up on the play. He's been scrutinized, attacked through the media by fans. Just so that you know, he is a NFL player of Muslim faith, and he's been attacked by racist remarks on Twitter, which there's no place for. Gentlemen, talk to me about what happened this weekend with that hit. He received a 3-game suspension and tried to appeal, and it was denied. Maneuvers, was this warranted?
I think for him, yeah, it was warranted. I think he's had enough fines, enough run-ins with the league in terms
of leading with the helmet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in terms of on the field issues. I think the 3 games, it's kind of like Draymond in the NBA. It's like it's you have so many run-ins, like they got to do something substantial.
No excuse. No excuse. Yeah.
I'm not defending him. I will say that it's a lot harder than people think to pull up,
to hold up and stop on the hit.
Yeah,
it's a lot harder
like that. Yeah,
like it's a lot harder than people think. It is not an easy thing to do, and I kind of commend him because when you look at the hit, it was all forearm. You know what I'm saying? It could have easily been helmet to helmet. It could have easily been his shoulder. And so I think he was trying to pull up. I just think it's hard, man. When you playing, a deep defensive back position, you flying around and you first thing in his head is pause. I'm clean this clock. I'm
gonna light him up.
Yeah. Let me go get him.
Let me go. What I'm saying? That's what they look for. And then he slides and it's oh shoot. Because the whole time
I gotta hold up.
The whole time he's running, and then he starts going down the slides like, I can still hit him. Oh, I can't hit him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's harder than people think, man. But it was a nasty hit.
So my rebuttal to that is, you have OTAs, you have assistant coaches who sit down in the meeting room with defensive players. They go over what you can do, what you can't do, the new rule changes, explain to these guys. There's health and safety on the field, where they have the protective crown units that they put on in game and during practice. They go over what you cannot do to the quarterback. And when the NFL sees a hit like this in a game against a premier player who is making a certain dollar amount, there will come a hefty fine, and there will become a suspension. It had to happen so that it doesn't have to happen again. It sounds tough to hear, but again, you know, the NFL has to protect its most prized product, which is the quarterback position. We don't want to hear that, but that's what it is. So Darnell, let me ask you this. What is next for Azeez, and, you know, going forward after the suspension? What silver lining is there for him?
I think he's just got to take his lumps. You know what I mean? I think that's just where we're at. You know, you see that, number one, the organization is behind him, which is huge. So that means they're going to fight and defend this guy tooth and nail. Number two, instead of him doubling down, and he should have been like, you know what? You know, we got to think about player safety. You know, it could have been bad on him as well. You know what I mean? So it's like, I agree with Anderson too. You know, like, it's hard to stop, but he's been like, you know what? It's a rivalry. I didn't mean it like that. You know, I got to do this. And that's the one thing for the most part. If you could fess up and say like, hey, maybe I messed up. I'm trying to play football. This is part of my job. I wasn't trying to injure. You know, you just do that.
Not all is forgiven, but it smooths things over.
Not all is forgiven, but we could get past that fact, because we do know football is a violent sport. When you double down and make it seem as if like, bro, you're not going altruistic and you're not trying to be this person. Like, no, man, like, just be like, hey, the guy was concussed. I should not have hit him like that. I was trying to slow down. It happened. You know, I got to move forward. I want to help this team make it to the playoffs. That's how you say it. That's why I said, like, a lot of times I'm really trying to figure out, and this is just probably, you know, the whole Vontaze Burfict, or what a lot of these NFL players go through. You know, there should be some protocol when you have a hit like this, and maybe the team needs to have some protocols, or the NFL need to have a protocol like, hey, this is the script. This is what we're going to say. The last thing we want is somebody attacking you on Twitter. We don't want somebody attacking you or calling and then going even further, talking about your faith, which really doesn't have that much to deal with it regardless. But we have enough people around that will try to tie it to that. So the NFL, knowing that they have a violent sport, knowing that what the product they're trying to put out there, because they still want people to have their kids playing. Like, they, without people putting their kids in Pee Wee and Pop Warner, there is no machine for you to continue with the sport. So there needs to be a script. There needs to be something at the NFL. Like, the guys come out and say, like, hey, look, this was bad. You know, as we're making progress, hey, you know, cite all of the stuff that we're doing, the new helmets, the CTE, whatever. So that way you're shielding yourself, so that, you know what, the market for football is still there. Granted, we have football on 4 or 5 days of the week.
Yeah,
on average.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, the NFL,
you know,
your brand.
I feel like the NFL.
Brand.
I feel like the NFL does what you're saying. I think they've done a lot now in terms of talking about player safety. I think what happened in this situation is you got a team and a football player. I think I want to say, I feel like part of it is like they're tired of explaining to people who don't play at that level what the NFL football is, and things like this happen. And I feel like it was just like, yo, stop singling out our guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this happens all the time. Like, truth be told, it's shit like that happens in training camp, where dudes, like, that's where a lot of fights happen in training camp, because it's like, defense is playing defense, and offense, they hit an offensive player, and they are teammates. They're on the same team, and you'll see these
and it happens
calls because it's the nature of of football. So I think the NFL done a good job talking about player safety, but I also think like people have to realize like the Texans really want to rally behind their guy because they don't feel like he's a bad guy and he did a bad thing.
Yeah. And that's agreed. And you know, at the end of the day, gentlemen, it's about protecting the asset and the money.
Yeah.
And speaking of assets and money, there have been 3 organizations who have let go invaluable assets. The Giants, the Raiders, the Titans agreed to part ways with their starting running backs in this offseason, right? The Ravens, the Packers, and the Eagles have a combined record of 24-9. Okay, 24-9. While those former teams have a record of 7-26. So when we're talking about the running back position and its value and its impact on football teams, we can look no further than Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley and the Eagles went into M&T Bank Stadium this weekend and put the boom on the Ravens. The close with the first of all, the score was 24-19, but there was a late garbage time touchdown. They took control of that entire game. And our Lord and our glorious king, Saquon Barkley, went off as per usual. And the Birds would listen, the Birds, but you know, the Birds, the great thing about the Eagles is they stuck to their guns. They did not get deterred by being down 9-0 in the game and stuck with their game plan to run the football, and they were rewarded for it. 24-3, outscoring the Ravens in 3 quarters. Now, the maneuvers. There was an impressive win. They look great on offense, and they look even better on defense. Are the Eagles the best team in the NFC?
I mean, it's debatable. I think they're the most talented team, talented and healthy team.
They have been healthy.
For
the most part.
For the most part, yeah.
They're getting healthy at the right time.
Yeah.
I think the thing that sticks out to me the most though about this Eagles team is, and I don't know if it's the Saquon factor. I'd have to go back and look at what they were like the previous 2 seasons. But it is their commitment to the run game. Like their commitment to the run game. And for that matter, sometimes the Ravens are the same thing. Sometimes the Ravens are committed to the run game. And I think it should be a lesson. Like, all right, like Saquon ain't gonna get 50 yards a carry in the first and second, and maybe not all of the third quarter. But midway through the third quarter,
wear you down.
Saquon gonna be putting off 15, 20-yard runs back to back. Might even break 2 of them for over 60. So I think to me, I would put them above the Lions just because of that. I feel like that can be a huge difference maker. If you can stay committed to a run game that becomes effective over time, like in a playoff game when the passing game's not there, it's like it's gonna be super valuable.
Absolutely. And permission to brag. The biggest advocate of the run game, sitting right over here as your guest moderator today.
We all advocates of it.
Running the football is the most effective way to win football games in the NFL. It has been over the last 50 years. It has not changed in a new age NFL where you can pass the ball. Now, with that, with me talking my shit being established, Darnell, running the football has been the marquee talent of the individual by the name of Saquon Barkley, who has showed out. He leads the NFL in rushing. Is he the league MVP as of this point in the season?
As much I would like to say yes. As much as I would like to say yes.
Ooh.
I would say this. Last year, the Eagles, remember they had that. It's funny. They were 10-2 last year, went on that crazy losing streak, went to Tampa and got just destroyed by Baker. You know what I mean? And actually, Tampa nearly beat the Lions the following week too, which is crazy. No, it was the Rams. No, it was the Lions. It was the Lions. They nearly beat the Lions.
I believe it was the Lions.
It was the Lions, right? You know what I mean? So. Yeah. In my eyes, and this is just me being a Saquon homer and a favoritist of Saquon, I would say yes. But I don't want to say the guy because I think it's going to be our next game we're going to talk about.
See the eyebrow raised.
Yeah. Listen. The guy that I think is probably the MVP right now. But Saquon, by a lot. Okay, here's the thing about Saquon. The reason Saquon looks like the MVP. I'm not saying his stats aren't there. It's unfortunate. Right now, we are Saquon's resurgence is being sacrificed at the altar of the Giants' below average mediocrity in every single facet as a team.
I don't think
that's a quotable.
Let me finish.
That's a quotable. Clip that.
So it's like, you know what I mean? The fact that the Giants look so inept in
preaching
all
right now.
facets. This is the problem. It's, you know what it is? You know what this reminds me of? It's like when you try and you had the prom queen and you were like, I'm gonna go with the prom queen, but you know what? You know what I'm gonna go for? I'm gonna go for the other girl that I think has potential. Not knowing that you had the prom queen. No, but seriously, no, but like,
no.
No. This
Now, what we're not, hang on, gentlemen. What we're not gonna do is circle back around to the Giants. This is not the conversation.
Exactly.
It's not.
We're not gonna do that.
Yeah, nothing to do with
but all I'm making a joke about it. I'm making.
Okay. Just making that clear. Maneuvers.
Yeah. I'm making a joke about it. But no, he's leading right now in the club room for a lot of people. But as I said, there's somebody else that I think will probably win it in the next game.
I have to say that Saquon looks like the MVP for me because how he impacts how the other great players on that team now play the game of football. Like the game of football is so much easier.
It makes the game easier. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I have to go back to it, even though we're not supposed to. Like the Giants looked inept with Saquon Barkley. I think the biggest tell for me is that like Tyrone Tracy is a great rookie running back. Saquon is leaps and bounds better because Tyrone Tracy doesn't look bad, but in that Giants offense, if you're a good runner, you're gonna find your wiggle room and do what you're gonna do. And he ain't Saquon, so he ain't getting what Saquon was getting, and he can't hold on to the football.
Right.
Now, but again, we're not gonna berate the Giants. That's not what we're here for today.
I'm not berating them. I'm just saying that.
But
the ineptness hasn't changed.
No, of course not.
The production that you get from a good running back is still visible because we're still getting decent production from Tyrone Tracy. I think the biggest tell is like he's not producing to the level of Saquon. Yep. And you take Saquon off of an inept team, and not only is he produced at the same level, like he doubles up. You know what I'm saying?
So I'll say this, Maneuvers. Players, there are certain players who are upper echelon talent in the NFL that must be treated as such, right? Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Josh Allen, Josh Jacobs, Joe Burrow, the list goes on. You have these types of players. Right. And when you have players like these on your franchise, you cannot allow them to leave because you think that is addition by subtraction. It cannot happen. Last question on top of this subject with the Ravens and the Eagles. Lamar Jackson's mama screamed at him and said, you didn't take enough opportunities to be able to run when you had the alley to. You tried to prolong plays and create passing lanes for your wide receivers who were not getting open, and you missed opportunities for chunk yardage plays.
Yeah.
Do we think that Lamar Jackson is too concerned with throwing the football down the field, and is he not playing to his strength? I'll have you go first on that.
I would say it seems as if like Lamar is trying to rewrite the narrative of who he is this season. He's proven that he could win. He's proven that he could get to the playoffs. You know, I think they said he has the highest winning percentage of any starting quarterback in NFL history. But I think what the Ravens are trying to show is like, hey, Lamar could win from the pocket. And sometimes you see in that game we watched on the other night, I was like, he had a chance to get at least 7, maybe 7. It's funny, like, you know what's crazy with Lamar?
He made
like,
his decision
he had a chance to
run.
get 7 to 15. You know what I mean? There's no small amount for Lamar. You know, he could either been here or up here. And I feel as if like the Ravens are trying to boost some life into that concept of him being able to play, being able to be solid, so that when the when the postseason comes, when they get there,
take the opportunity.
Hey, Lamar, he's going to take the opportunity to run now.
Reverse psychology.
Trying to see, trying to see. Okay,
I can get with that.
Where exactly? Where's my pocket? And not the pocket to pass. Where's my pocket to where I'm comfortable enough to play at that high level to take my team to the next? Because the AFC's got some zingers now, man. This is a very loaded AFC, man, if you want to be honest. So where can Lamar stand out? And now him and Josh Allen, they're right here bumping at that spot, whereas like we're not. Pause.
Oh,
they're at that spot where.
Thank you for correcting yourself.
Sorry, pause. They're at that spot where they have both met
hands down, man,
as far as they can go. Sorry, as far as they can go, and they have to get to that next that Mahomesian level. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, you're good. You could win during the regular season, but when that other man is out there, can you beat him? So that's what I feel.
What can you do? Maneuvers. Yeah. 2 minutes. Give me what you got.
2 minutes? I don't need 2 minutes. Listen, man. The Ravens, they look comfortable. They look comfortable going on the road and playing. I feel like they have these losses that I don't think they really matters to them. I think they're trying to fine tune some things. Still, even in their losses, they still look like a good football team. And I wouldn't be concerned. If I was a Ravens fan, I wouldn't be concerned because, I mean, the opportunities are there. Sometimes they're not taken for whatever the reason may be. I will say this though. I think that everyone who talks about Lamar could have taken off and run. Like, Lamar is quick, but like closing speed.
You got to be careful. Even his mother said it.
Yeah.
So
closing speed. Closing speed.
NFL,
closing speed in NFL is a hell of a thing. I mean, these DBs and linebackers close a lot faster than it looks like. If you're not there in person and you're watching on television, what you think is a lot of space is not a lot of space. So I think Lamar understands that. I think as he should, and I think when the opportunity is there for him to do it, he'll take it. If he feels like he can make a play downfield, that's his job as a quarterback, to try and make a play downfield. He shouldn't always have to. That should not be the game plan. Like, let's get Lamar to get 7-8 yards on the scramble. You know, like that should be like when needed. Break glass in case of emergency type situation. You know what I'm saying?
But Maneuver, here's the thing. When he does it, you get results like in his rookie year when he broke that run against the Bengals and made everybody look stupid. He's magical. He's magical when he takes off with the running with the football. Perfect example.
Do you want him to do that? Do you want him to do that, or would you rather him get the same amount of yards on a pass to a receiver?
I don't want him to do it with the level of frequency that everybody wants him to do. However, when there's a play to be made with your feet, for example, toward the end of the game, he ripped off like a 70-yard run.
You know what's crazy, yo?
Yeah.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
I'm
just trying to make a point and a case for the reason why I think that he should run a little more periodically is because
Lamar Jackson was no one says this about Patrick Mahomes. No,
because he doesn't need to.
No, he can run as much as Lamar Jackson. He doesn't. He extends plays and he makes a pass downfield. And no one says we want to see Patrick Mahomes.
Nobody can run like Lamar Jackson in the NFL.
Yo, Patrick Mahomes.
That's the difference.
Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allan, all
these
break 40, 50-yard runs, bro.
Dude, he's 6'2", 230 pounds with a 4.2 40. He's faster than Michael Vick.
Bro,
take advantage of the opportunities that are presented to you to gain chunk yardage. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But still be a quarterback that distributes the football to his wide receivers when the opportunity is presented. Make plays
when it's needed.
This is another
plays. Speaking of a team that has made plays, the Bills. Nobody circles the. Listen, like Maneuvers said in our in-person episode, nobody circles the wagon. Like who?
The Buffalo Bills.
The Buffalo Bills. Listen,
right here, Bills. Right now.
The Bills put foot to what? Ass. Foot to ass. Okay? Beating the Niners 35-10. Okay? In a winter wonderland blowout.
Big story.
The sad part for the 49ers is we're hitting. Listen, real quick, Donna, hit that violin for them real quick for me.
Over for them.
Listen, it's over for them. They're cooked barbecue chicken, like Shaq say. Chistian
You
McCaffery.
never know.
Listen, man. Chistian McCaffery with a partially torn PCL, out for the rest of the season. You still have injuries that they're dealing with right now, and Brock Purdy had the RoboCop arm artificially placed on so that he could throw passes during this football game. But listen, the real story of this game, gentlemen, Josh Allan.
That's not the real story.
Josh Allan played well in the winter wonderland. So what is the real story, Mr. Manu?
The real story of the game is the San Francisco 49ers lost not one, but two running backs. Because Mason's on the IR too. And let's not forget, he was leading the league in rushing.
In the early point of the season,
Yeah, so they lost big time there. They already had Brandon Ayuk out. Kittle's been hit and miss. Brock Purdy's been hit and miss. Debo's been MIA.
Fumbling.
So the real story of the season of that game is the 49ers. The 49ers are adding another point to the list of win the Super Bowl when you have the chance. Because it doesn't mean that the chance is coming back. Just because those guys are in your roster the next year doesn't mean that
you're going to come back. And that's a valid point. Go ahead, Darnell.
What I would say, and I agree with them, right? The biggest story is usually in the losing locker room. But we gotta still look and we gotta give something to the Bills, man. Where they were saying, hey, we're gonna let go of Saquon Diggs. You know what? We're gonna bring in a couple of other receivers here and there. And we're gonna let Josh Allan just do his thing. And
I have to just,
funny.
Interject. I'm so sorry. I have to just interject for a moment. That was going to be the basis, the foundation of my argument for why I'm not going with my vote for Saquon Barkley as league MVP for Josh Allen to be league MVP.
But I was gonna say, well, okay, forget it. Okay, I'll say this.
You're in my head right now. Pause.
No, yeah, I was gonna say the Buffalo Bills. I think the story's on them as far as how it goes. Dude, they won the AFC East in week 13, man.
Everyone expected them to take. Listen, Darnell, you got a valid point. Everyone expected them to take a step back with the assets lost. The defense had injuries to start the season.
They had 2 starting wide receivers.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying,
and the Jets, with some people in this episode of Second and Two, had some supporters who will remain nameless. Were projected to win the AFC East, and it didn't turn out that way.
I didn't say they would win the AFC East.
Said they would win the Super Bowl.
I said I if you go back and look at the recording.
Oh, I've seen it.
I said,
yeah.
And
no need to wallow in the weeds, man.
Nobody
We've seen it.
Circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. So the Bills will win the AFC, but the offensive line will stand up, and Aaron Rodgers and the Jets will win the Super Bowl. That's exactly what I said. I never said that the Jets will win the AFCs.
You're shooting 50% from the field.
Yeah,
all right, forget it. We know what the deal is. We know what the deal is.
Correct.
50%. We know what the deal is. We know what the deal is.
I think everyone's making a bigger deal about all the wrong things when it comes to Josh Allen and his, MVP campaign. I think the biggest thing for him, for me looking at Josh Allen this year, is that he's taking better care of the football, and I think that's the number one that really matters. It's like he's taking much better care of the football, but the numbers across the board, other than interceptions being down, are about the same. Like they're about the same. It's not like, oh, Josh Allen's he's throwing 1 or 2 touchdowns more.
8.
Huh?
8.
So to me, that's disappointing that you have that mindset, because conversely, in the last conversation we were just mentioning
Josh Allen fan, though.
Right. I mean, me too. But we're talking about Saquon Barkley moving on from the Giants, who have less, and then going on to a football team that has been able to amplify his talent and allow him to be himself and make others better. Josh Allen had subtraction of talent and has less to work with, and it's still the same Josh Allen that we know. Now, granted, the run game is a backbone for a lot of what he's able to do on the field. James Cook has been huge this year for the Buffalo Bills.
Phenomenal.
Now we're not going to take that away from what they're doing at this Go ahead.
You got the perfect answer for you. The Bills championship window is the length of Josh Allen's career. Right or wrong. Okay. Doesn't matter.
That's not up for debate. We understand that.
Doesn't matter who he is.
But that's what any team. That's what any team.
He is the epitome of franchise quarterback. The Eagles, you know what I'm saying? Like, they were a Super Bowl team. And Saquon Barkley has gone on that team and literally changed the dynamic of a team that was just 2 years removed from the Super Bowl.
You just shot yourself in the foot.
Oh, I didn't shoot myself.
You realize that?
We'll let him finish.
Let me wrap it all up for you, right? Like, everyone wants to make the MVP award a quarterback award. Like, the Super Bowl window for the Bills is Josh Allen's career. That statement alone in itself, like, that is the expectation for Josh Allen. That's his career.
So what is your metric? What is your metric for MVP consideration?
My metric is the value to the team that is winning. Like, what is the value? What player? So listen, let me say this to you, right?
All right.
if you want to look at it without any nuance, right? Which is what you guys are trying to do. Then
we're nuancing the hell out of it.
No,
we're nuancing the hell out of it.
Like, if you want to crown him, then crown him. You got
no.
Then it's always gonna be a.
You sound salty, man.
No. That's what.
Here's what we're saying, right?
No, it's always gonna be a quarterback.
A season. No.
After last season, that the most valuable thing that's happened for the Eagles is the addition of Saquon Barkley. Like, he is the most.
But
like, to me.
But that's it.
If the Ravens if the Ravens hadn't lost these games, Derrick Henry early on to me was the top MVP candidate.
Go ahead, Darnell.
Quickly shifted to Saquon.
But that's
they
the
went
thing,
to teams that were winning and they made them better.
Maneuvers, please.
Yeah, but
Darnell, go ahead.
But what I'm saying is, here's where you really mess yourself up.
Okay.
The Eagles, number one, they went to the Super Bowl already without Saquon Barkley
2 years ago. They didn't look the same.
But it's pretty much the same team on offense that they have.
They didn't look like this last year.
No, but as I'm saying, now you pretty much brought it back down to zero. Square, as Thierry Marie says, I'm talking square biz, brother. Square biz. Down back to number one. You are saying it's a nickname. Tia Marie, whatever. But what I'm trying to say is,
Princess of the Rock. But anyway,
whatever. But what I'm trying to say is, what it shows, whatever. But what it shows, even though he is valuable, we're not disputing that. But can you say Saquon? And if you go and say this, if you switch Saquon Barkley to the Bills, and if you want to switch Josh Allan to the Eagles, what will the status of that team be?
No, that's now hold on, Darnell. That's a classic thing that a lot of people like to do and say. But that's those successes would, of course, it's quite natural that those successes would not be shared because those football teams.
Go ahead, finish.
No, I was gonna say those football teams are not made for those players when you add them to them, right? What I'm trying to say is, okay.
No, what I'm trying to say is, like, Saquon is Saquon. We get that, but I still believe if Saquon Barkley was on a team as loaded, if you on any team that is loaded as how the Eagles are, it's complementary pieces. Whereas the Bills,
okay,
yes, and
okay,
and that's what I'm trying to say.
So here's I'll take the last point here.
Yeah.
Here's the issue with the MVP argument. And I said this earlier. I said, what is your criteria, right? My criteria is expectations for performance. Expectation for performance was when Saquon Barkley joined the Philadelphia Eagles, we expected nothing less of what we're seeing today. We expected Saquon Barkley to perform the way that he is performing, and he's done so with flying colors. It's impacted winning. He is considered as an MVP candidate. There is no greater honor than that. He is top 3 in MVP voting currently as a running back. That hasn't been said in a couple of years. Now, Josh Allan, expectations entering into the season was expected to see a regression. We were expected to see that there was going to be a struggle for lack of targets. He only had Dalton Kincaid. He had the Coleman kid that was drafted from FSU. He had Keon Coleman. He only had Khalil Shakir. And the question was, who is going to be the wide receiver that's going to step up to be the guy to make his life a lot easier on the offensive side of the football? Josh Allan has done that with flying colors, and his Buffalo Bills are on top of the AFC. So, gentlemen,
I gotta ask you a question though. I do have to ask you a question. What
So I just can't have the last say because I let y'all cook.
You're about to. What this year
Okay.
has Josh Allen done differently than any other year?
He has done more with less.
Which is a big argument, man.
This year has Josh Allen done in the way he plays football that's different this year than any other year? And I want to say this, like, before you answer the question as well, like, who are we to say what less is? But what has Josh Allen done?
But that's a very subjective take and point of view. It's
It's
based on the eye. It's based on the eye of the beholder.
You're saying he's done more with less is subjective.
But that's truth. Because he lost his number one wide receiver.
He lost
1 and 2.
He lost.
Yeah, and he lost Gabe Davis. I totally
receivers.
forget because Gabe Davis ain't doing shit in Jacksonville.
He's lost receivers.
Yeah.
He's lost receivers, but he's also gained receivers, and he's gained a running game that wasn't there, and play calling that is different and more.
But they were running it last year.
That's the difference, dude. He gained those players through them proving themselves in roles this year. Saquon Barkley, on the other hand, joining that offense, we knew that there was no doubt that he was going to perform. Why can't you recognize that?
Yeah, but he's outperformed even what we thought he would do, bro. 300 yards of offense in one game, bro.
Outperformed.
He's outperformed all expectations, bro. Did you ever expect to see 300 yards of offense from Saquon Barkley?
You got Mulata, you got Dickerson, you got Mekhi Becton, you got Lane Johnson, you got AJ Brown on the outside, you got Dallas Goedert at the tight end, you got Jalen Smith on the other side playing wide receiver. Listen, dude.
But let me ask you a question.
He should have that kind of output.
300 yards of offense?
He should.
On a team with all the talent that you just named, he had 300 yards of offense. 200 yards, 100 yards receiving, 200 yards rushing speaks for itself, man. Let's agree.
I'm not
disagree.
Yes. I totally agree. Listen, gentlemen, this has been quite an episode. This was fun.
It has been.
Moderator, listen, baby, I like the moderator role. This was fun, guys, but I don't want to do this shit again. We'll wait on FJB to come back next week for week 14. Listen, we'll catch y'all next week. This is the 22 twos.
Wait.
Remember, yes, like, comment, share, subscribe, and also hit that notification bell on the YouTube. Follow our socials. We have Instagram. We have X. We have
Facebook and Instagram.
Blue Sky.
It's on the Facebook and now newly added to the fold. We have Blue Sky, baby.
Orange and Blue Skies.
We doing it big.
Give
us a like.
Yeah, we all over. We all over.
We are here for you to provide you with the arguments and the information that you love to hear.
Yeah.
This has been the 22 twos. We out.
We out.